Shalom Aleichem. We're going to continue exploring the Mashal HaHindik. We now that we have basically all the characters and who they represent and how they connect us on such a deep level, we're going to now finally start to fully grasp the approach in terms of trying to heal ourselves of this delusion one might have of what they are. So if one looks at the text of the story, so the first thing the Chacham does is that it says, right, so he goes to under the table, just exactly like the Ben Melech. He makes himself just like him. He makes himself completely relatable. And then he doesn't really say anything. He just, does exactly like the other person does, like the Ben Melech. And he waits for the Ben Melech to begin first, to ask him who he is. He doesn't initiate even. And this is a very important point when we can, and again, this is something we tried to already highlight at the onset, why it's a hindik and maybe not a tarnagol. Right? It's a turkey, not a chicken. Turkeys are generally more larger than chickens, and he's under the table. It's an animal that could be inside the home. So again, we're seeing another component where we have to give this Ben Melech, even with his delusion, some amount of credit, where he needs to be the one who initiates. And these are sort of key ingredients for when we have an external person trying to help us. If we don't allow these things to happen, then it's very, very difficult for something external to go and really be mashpia, to really cause us to do any real change. And we said earlier that the chacham sometimes has to be ourselves, but we have to be willing to still not look ourselves as the absolute lowliest. We have to take 1 point in ourselves that we find good, and then we can build on that, and we can go and ask ourselves, what could we do? Then we can start to unravel the delusion. Anyways, after the Chacham basically makes himself equal to the Hindik, the Hindik initiates, which is amazing that he goes and asks him what he's doing over there, what's he doing, and he says that he responds, what are you doing over here? And interestingly, he doesn't say something like, I asked you first. Again, we have to give credit to the Hindik, to the Ben Melech, who's acting like a hindik, that he answers him. He says, I'm a turkey. And only afterwards the Chacham says, I too am a turkey. And there's this certain equal footing that happens. But we're seeing a lot of strength on the side of the Ben Melech to, again, initiate in that situation, and as well as also just respond to the questions that are being asked to him. At times, we're not even at that level where we really can't muster the strength to initiate in those situations, or we hide from them completely. But please God, we'll be able to take those moments where we're in a little bit better headspace, and these are the key things that allow this hindik, truly the Ben Melech, to realize that he's only having a delusion of being a hindik, and be fully repaired from it. And the last point I want to make before we call it for this particular lecture, and leave on even more of the how exactly we accustom he was able to heal him, is that after stating this, they spent a lot of time together, right? V'yashu shneim yachad kach ezeh zman ad shenasu regilim zeh im zeh, right? The Chacham didn't push at that point. The Chacham was very patient till the hindik was comfortable with him, right? And again, depending on if you look at this as something that we can do internally for ourselves, the frame does definitely seem to be much more so about an external source, especially with all of these other components we're bringing up. That seems to probably be more accurate. We're extrapolating because at times we have to do these things for ourselves, but an external source has to really make sure there's a true relationship there, and there's a true ability to relate to each other before trying to really make any true change in the other person.